What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another Tottenham update for you guys. Have you noticed Ben is not in the studio with us today, so taking his place is the forever wonderful Mr. Brian Daigle in the house to go through all the Tottenham news over the last 24 hours. How you doing, Brian? Lovely to see you as always.
Always, and to be called forever wonderful, what an honour. What an honour. Good morning or afternoon to everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day, and always a pleasure with you, Simeon.
Jay Harris again in his article saying Tottenham remain interested in Conor Gallagher, with both recruitment team and Ange liking the Chelsea midfielder. However, Romano has tweeted out a quote from Conor Gallagher saying, "Everyone, myself and everyone at Chelsea are excited and happy to work with Enzo Maresca. We want to get Chelsea back to where they belong." And he also tweeted it with a handshake emoji, leading a lot of people to believe that maybe that's a indication of a contract potentially getting closer. Obviously, those aren't the words of someone who looks like he's on the verge of leaving Chelsea, does it? But as long as that contract isn't officially signed, the questions will still be there.
Yeah, they will still be there, but I think when Fabrizio starts tweeting things like this and you put the little emoji with it as well, I think he signed a new contract. I think he signed a new contract. I for one, didn't fancy Conor. Oh, I almost said Conor Gallagher there. What have you done to me? Conor Gallagher coming, but I did understand what a lot of people are saying with he is the total Ange midfielder. This is the kind of guy that literally will drop into his system and do well. I get that. But I think the contract is signed. I think we're here later on today or before the end of the week that this is signed, sealed, delivered. Probably let's face it, he probably wanted his future sorted out before he went away to Germany with England, didn't he? As a lot of these players will do, so they can focus on representing their country. So I think he's going to stay at Chelsea. I said at the beginning of this last season, I think he's angling for a new contract. And it looks like he may have got it. But, Simeon, the biggest thing is, if he does sign it, we were all led to believe that this was Ange's number one, wasn't it? And Spurs were going to push the boat out. And it's not the best look for the number one pick. Obviously, there's a difficulty with Chelsea and Tottenham. We all knew that. But if that's fallen by the wayside, then hopefully that means all systems go with Eze with the finances we'll have.
Well, I hope so. When it comes to Conor, obviously I'm a big fan of his and I think he would have been a great signing, but I always believed it was going to be a very difficult deal to do, not just between Chelsea and Tottenham, which is difficult enough, but also between Conor Gallagher and Tottenham, seeing as Conor Gallagher is a Chelsea fan. So would he really want to come to Tottenham? Is that one of his goals? Would he rather stay at Chelsea or even move to a different Champions League club potentially rather than join Tottenham? And also, you know, one of the main reasons I believe that he's not signing a contract at Chelsea is because he wants, you know, pay parity with their top earners because he believes he's as important as them. And will Tottenham give that to him? I'm not 100% convinced either. I think they're probably going to get Conor a similar deal to what Chelsea are offering him. I think he wants 200 grand a week. And I think Chelsea are offering him like 150. I don't know if Tottenham can better that kind of wage packet, to be honest. So I always thought it was difficult. But look, nothing has changed too much as of yet. But there are indications he might be well on his way to signing contract. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. And I hope, it means more likely we sign Eze. That'll be brilliant. Next up is an interesting one. We're going to be talking about Alexander Isak. The Athletic, Jay Harris has been talking about Isak. He says, there is admiration for Isak among many at Tottenham, but it would not be a cheap deal to do or easy to pull off, given they are rivals of Newcastle. Alexander Isak, Brian, from slim to none, how would you rate our chances of bringing him in?
If none was here, all the way over here. It ain't happening. Listen, my number one pick is the guy at Sporting Lisbon, Gyökeres, or how you pronounce his name. But it's only my number one pick because I think Isak is absolutely a non-starter. If Isak was available, I would move heaven and earth to get that man to this football club. I think he is a magnificent player and exactly what we need. He is phenomenal, but I just cannot see us under any circumstances reaching the numbers that Newcastle would want and then getting the deal done. I just can't see it, but I would absolutely love us to throw the kitchen sink at getting him.
You're talking at the bare minimum 100 million, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
For a player of that quality, 21 goals in 24 games this season, albeit there is one caveat, I guess, is he doesn't have the best injury record, does he? Last season, he picked up a big injury right at the start of his Newcastle career and was out for a few months. And then this season as well, he's only played 24 games, so he's missed quite a heavy chunk through about a third of the season through injury. So, is it worth risking that a player with that kind of injury record for that bigger price?
Well, with that kind of goal return, Simeon, 24, I think, like you said, something like 20, I think it might be a bit more than 20, roughly. Premier League, maybe 24 with 21 goals. Then you count his assists. The thing you got to look at is what would that be? 14 games he missed. Yes, it's a big chunk, but for that kind of goal return, you look at our forward line right now, what they offer, that's probably more than Kulusevski, Werner, Maddison, and a few others combined with their goals and assists, what he's got. So you got to kind of work out, yes, he may have picked up that injury, and it may be he misses a little chunk or a sub-chunk, but on that kind of goal return, that's a phenomenal achievement. If you can keep him fit for the remaining part, God knows what he's capable of.
Part of me hopes he's not available, because if he is available, I think Arsenal are going to be seriously interested in him, and that will worry me. So maybe it's a classic case of, do I want Spurs to lose to City kind of thing? Do I want Isak to be available? I'd rather him not be available.
Don't go there against him.
I'd rather him not be available so he doesn't go to Arsenal than he is available and have a slight chance of joining Tottenham. Let's talk about Ivan Toney now. And Paul O'Keefe has been talking about Ivan Toney, and he says Tottenham do have an interest in Toney. However, Tottenham want to sign him at a fee they deem acceptable for a player in the last year of his contract. The word at the moment is Brentford are asking for more than Tottenham are willing to offer, and he followed that by saying reportedly Brentford want between 60 and 70 million for Ivan Toney this summer. Obviously, he is a player with 1 year left on his deal, so usually players of that kind of in that situation, the price usually drops quite a bit. You would assume, especially as the window ticks down, you think the price would go down, as they get a bit more desperate. I think we've seen this from Brentford before, at the beginning of last summer, around the same time now, we were bidding for Raya, and they dug their heels in and said 40 million or no deal. All of a sudden, it got to a few weeks left of the window, and they're going down as low as 27 to accept to go to Arsenal. So I don't think this is, I don't think, in my opinion, they're going to stay firm on that price, 60 to 70 million. I do think that will drop. But for you, is 60, let's say it's the lower end, let's say it's 60 million, or let's say 65, let's say it's 65 million. Is that a price you look at and you just walk away from? Or do you think, you know what, there's a deal to be done here? Yeah,
for me, if it's, I saw 40 million, but that might be the money we're willing to pay, not what Brentford are willing to. For me, this time on this opportunity, the club are absolutely bang on right. 60 to 70 million for someone in the last year of their contract, not a chance, not a chance. We shouldn't bow down to Brentford's demands on that. That's a ridiculous fee for Brentford to be quoting. The only thing, I'm not one that really wants Ivan Toney at the club. I said who I wanted as my number one target, but every time I think about him, the one thing that brings me back is, do you remember in that documentary when Jose Mourinho said we need to be horrible, certain words?
Mm-hmm.
Ivan Toney fits that bill to a T, doesn't he? That is the kind of player that will be. So on that aspect, I think he would do well for us, but he's not for me. But if it was 40 million, I can see a deal being done, but 60, 70, not a goddamn chance.
Yeah, especially because he's 28 as well, so it's not like he's a young player. I think maybe if he was 25, I think maybe there'll be a bit more conversation about that. But seeing as he's 28, maybe in 2 or 3 years he could be. Actually, I think his kind of profile should be all right in his 30s, to be honest. But I still, it's a bit more of a risk signing a 28-year-old for such big money. Obviously, he's also been out of form for a few months. I know he came back and did quite well after his ban, but last few months of the season, he's actually been a bit out of form. I think he's gone 10 games now without a goal. So It is a bit of a risk betting that amount of money. I would be more willing to kind of wait out the window, go for other options. And if he's available near the end of the window for, as you say, around 40 million, I think then we can pound. Last but not least, the new kit for the new season has been launched as of today. The home kit for 2024-25 season is here, and it is kind of reminiscent of the old 2005-6 kit under Martin Jol, the blue sleeves. Let's take a look at it. Quite a nice kit. You can see Sonny, modeling the kit at the moment. I kind of like the blue sleeves and the blue outline, the navy sleeves. Kind of a throwback to more fun times as a Spurs fan, albeit it did end with a bout of food poisoning. But I do really like it. I think it really looks really nice. It definitely suits Sonny. What's your thoughts on the new kit, Brian?
Yeah, listen, I came on one of your shows with Ben when I said, listen, I can't wait for the day we leave Nike. Every kit is the same, and I want to see something different. They've done something different with those blue sleeves. It's very, very, very reminiscent of the Kappa kit, like you said, the Martin Jol days. So it is a bit of a flashback. But yeah, I still can't believe they've had the nerve to use the tagline "We rise again," when the only thing that's rised is the ticket prices. That made me laugh and chuckle.
No,
yeah,
I think it's time to rise. I think is the tagline. Time to rise.
Or even that, it's like, yeah, okay, what a great tagline. But
after
listen,
I think that in 2017, the tagline was "Watch us rise," and now it's 7 years later, and it's time to rise. So it's taken us 7 years. So you're watching when they said "Watch us rise," they didn't let us know we're going to be waiting 7 years before it's now time to rise. So we were watching. We've been watching for 7 years, and now it's time to rise. So let's see.
It's been like watching a souffle rise, hasn't it? Literally, now it's time to watch it. We've done it. But listen, I've said that I want to see something different on the Spurs home kit, so it's not so plain. They've done it, so I can't be a hypocrite and say, do you know what? They've done something different. Like you said, it takes me back to Martin Jol, and whenever I think of Martin Jol, it warms my heart and reminds me of some magical days. So they've done something different. Am I buying it and giving Spurs money? Hell no. But yeah, it's something different at long last.
Brian, we're rising as quickly as a box of matzah. How about that one?
There we go. We might be tweeting that very soon.
Brilliant. All right, nice one, guys. Appreciate your time, Brian, as always. Lovely to see you. Thank you for everyone for watching this video. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Let us know in the comment section below anything we'll discuss today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.